moments, concentrate on the Divine Master and pray for the welfare of the whole humanity. Shanti Hari Om Tat Sat Om Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Yate Namah Asato Ma Tadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. So we are praying to Sri Ramakrishna to remove our ignorance, to carry us onward in our spiritual journey. All this is done by the Guru, the spiritual master, who is the guide for all the spiritual aspirants. When one of the devotees asked the question, what's the way? We are constantly under stress and strain, fear, anxiety, worries, tensions, frustrations, disappointments. What is the way? And Sri Ramakrishna gives the answer straight away. The way is to follow the instructions of the Guru. Have faith in the words of Guru. If you follow what he says, surely you can get over all these problems in your life. You are sure to get peace and tranquility. By this statement, Sri Ramakrishna has focused how Guru plays a very important part in the spiritual life of an aspirant. One has to cherish definite attitude towards the Guru. Once you well establish in that attitude, you should never change for any reason. Your devotion to Guru must be very firm, not simply talking about the faith, showing by your actions. You must prove yourself a true worthy disciple of the Guru. You must become the right channel so that the Guru's grace flows through it. Then you will be able to cross this ocean of samsara. So we have discussed in last 2 classes about various aspects of Guru. Mainly, he has 4 functions to perform. We have discussed about the 2 functions of the Guru. The first is to instruct the aspirant about his spiritual ideal and the means of attaining it. In the spiritual life, everything should be definite. There should not be any confusion regarding ideal, regarding the path. Sri Ramakrishna has set the ideal, has set the path, has shown the way, has given practical instructions to meditate upon. The second function of the Guru is to awaken the power of spiritual intuition in the disciple. Everyone has that intuition. That's why Swami Vivekananda said in the parliament, each soul is potentially divine. Because the divinity is already there in your heart, it can be awakened. If it is not there, nothing could have been done. So the gold is there in your heart, it is to be discovered, it is to be taken out. So, the Guru awakens the spiritual intuition in the disciple. So, the transmission of the spiritual impulse or power through a mantra is thus the second function of the Guru. Now, coming to the third function, one of the grave defects of a spiritual aspirant and a persistent obstacle to spiritual progress is egoism. It is too terrible to think of it, how it destroys everything about the person. Egoism is the worst enemy of a person. Because egoism leads to carelessness, which in turn leads to downfall. So, obedience to the will of an illumined master is perhaps the best safeguard to the Guru. His safeguard against all these problems that the spiritual aspirants are facing in spiritual life. So, how it is very important to serve the Guru. Your spiritual discipline starts the manner in which you serve the Guru, the attitude you have towards him while serving, the devotion you develop through service. So, service rendered to the Guru brings to the light the inherent defects in the character of the disciple. The Guru notices these. He removes them, all the defects from the disciple. How? By giving a few austere treatment. Sometimes the Guru will have to be very strict in enforcing the discipline among the disciple. You must be ready to undertake discipline if you have to progress in spiritual path. The Guru has that immense power. He subdues the serpent of egoism of the disciple. So, from this context, from this point of view, we should know how it is very important to know the relationship between the Guru and the disciple. The relationship is pure, it is elevated and strong. The disciple should always remember at every moment of his life that he is under the strict guidance of the Guru. Whatever the Guru says must be clearly followed up. The disciple looks upon all the scoldings and the punishments meted out to him by his Guru as blessings and cherishes them as treasures throughout his life. The fourth function of the Guru is to connect the disciple to a spiritual tradition, what we call sampradaya, or a line of Guru Parampara. A spiritual tradition is started by an avatar or an illumined seer whose spiritual knowledge and power are preserved through a succession of Gurus. When a person receives intuition from a Guru, the intuitive power, when it was awakened by the Guru, when he receives an initiation from the Guru, he gets a share of the knowledge and power circulating in that corporate mystical body. His own individual endeavor gets a tremendous boost from the collective goodwill and aspiration. So it is very important to know about the Guru concept. It is very sacred. The more you understand it, better for your spiritual life. In Hindu tradition, the spiritual preceptor is not merely respected as a guide or a director, but he is an object of adoration and worship as much as the deity is. Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Yasya deve para bhaktar yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite katita hyarthaha prakashante mahatmanaha. The spiritual truths shine forth only in those high-souled ones who have as much supreme devotion for the Guru as for God. The fundamental basis of this Guru concept is given in Mundakopanishad. Brahmaveda Brahmaiva Bhavati. A knower of Brahman verily becomes Brahman itself. An illumined Guru is for the disciple not only a symbol of Brahman, but is non-different from the highest reality. Apart from this, there are other considerations that form the foundation of the Guru concept. One of these is the belief that the relationship between the Guru and the disciple is an eternal one. Death may put an end to the relationship between husband and wife, between parent and child, between brother and sister, and between friends, but not to the relationship between the Guru and the disciple. Even after the Guru has left his mortal body, he continues to remain in a subtle body and guide the disciple. It is believed that once the Guru has accepted the responsibility of the disciple, he cannot get liberation until the disciple too attains it. He is very much concerned about the spiritual growth of the disciple, and he sacrifices everything for that. There is a strong belief in the vicarious suffering of the Guru for the sake of the disciple. It is believed that the sins of the disciple go to the Guru who has to suffer for them. Sri Ramakrishna himself has said how he had to suffer from cancer because he had to take away all the sins of Girish Chandra Ghosh. On another occasion, in order to save Madhur Babu's wife, Sri Ramakrishna had to suffer for 6 months. So, the Guru suffers for the welfare of the disciple. The Kularnava Tantra, it says, Mantri doshascha Rajanam Jaya doshaha patim yatha Tatha prapnotya sandeham shishya papam guru priye. The blemish of the minister affects the king, and the blemish of the wife, the husband. Similarly, the sins of the disciple undoubtedly affect the Guru. The Guru seeks nothing from his disciple. He accepts his spiritual responsibility and suffers for him out of compassion. As I said earlier, the Guru acts as a channel for the flow of divine grace. All people are not equally open to God. In many people, the ego and sinful tendencies of the past offer resistance to grace. which has therefore to find a channel in holy illumined souls. So, when the disciple engages himself in a dedicated service and develops his devotion to the Guru, the disciple opens his soul to the Guru. He receives divine grace by the blessings of the Guru. What would have taken years of struggle to attain that state, the disciple gets in a short time by the blessings of his Guru. The aspirant feels eternally indebted to his Guru, who saves him from sorrow, bondage, and fear forever. And suffers for his sake. So it is attitudes and beliefs of this kind, handed down from generation to generation, that form the basis of the Guru concept and have given it a sacred and incommutable status in the time-honored spiritual traditions. What is very important is that the disciple should not lose the spiritual perspective. If he loses that, his relationship with the Guru becomes an ordinary human one. In order to understand the real spiritual greatness of the Guru, the disciple must himself have some spiritual intuition, and this cannot be got without intense spiritual practice. Where there is lacking, the disciple may not get much spiritual benefit by his association with the Guru. The disciple should not neglect regular spiritual practice in the hope of getting spiritual progress by proxy. One must be very clear about this point. Without spiritual practice, you cannot move an inch in spiritual path. Coming to the significance of Guru concept, it makes transmission of spiritual truths practical. It has enabled Hinduism to maintain even the highest forms of spiritual experience in a living tradition through thousands of years. At the individual level, the Guru concept can be a great help to the beginner in spiritual life. Apart from the practical instructions that the Guru gives, his personality gives the neophyte the much needed support to his soul. To love an intangible spiritual reality, an unknown God, is really difficult for a beginner. By loving a living spiritual personality, in whom are manifested some of the attributes of the chosen ideal, the disciple progresses quickly in the path of devotion. So, by surrendering his will to the will of the Guru, by serving him and undergoing sacrifices for his sake, the disciple learns to practice true self-surrender to God. It is Moreover, easier to concentrate upon a person of flesh and blood whom one has seen, and so meditation on the Guru is a great help to concentration. On the path of knowledge, this aspirant has practically no other support than the Guru. Sri Shankaracharya, one of the great Gurus, says that the blessings of the Guru is nishkraya. There is no recompense for it. It cannot be paid back. There is no substitute for it on earth. The Prashnopanishad speaks of 6 young seekers of truth going to the hermitage of the great sage by name Pippalada. So they lived with him for a year. As per his instruction, they practiced continence and austerities. Then they approached the Guru with their questions. Pippalada answered all their questions most satisfactorily. The disciples were overwhelmed with gratitude, worshipped the feet of their Guru, and they exclaimed with deep devotion, Tvam hinah pita yosmakam avidyayaha paramparam tarayasiti. You are indeed our Father who have ferried us across this ocean of ignorance to the other shore. We bow down to the great Guru. We bow down to the great Guru. So, that is how the tradition of Guru plays most important part in our spiritual life. So when Sri Ramakrishna said, have faith in the words of Guru, follow what he says. By following what the Guru says, you are practicing yoga, literally. So, never neglect your spiritual practices, even for a day. Be always conscious of what you are doing, what you are thinking, what you are talking. Don't give rise to terrible emotions. Don't unnecessarily engage yourself in defending what you have done, good or bad. Leave everything to God to judge. Then God will take care of them. If you try to defend yourself, then God keeps apart. Well, that fellow is defending himself, let him defend. That's the way. Surrendering means without questioning, without complaining, without raising your egoism. Try to be more humble, more and more humble, devoted and serviceable. Then you will see how you will become the recipient of Guru's grace. That Guru's grace will enable you to have the illumination, and you will get tremendous peace in life. With these words, I conclude my talk today. I shall read some passage. Then questions will be asked. Master said to the devotees, one must inherit good tendencies, 542 page, to realize God. One must have done something, some form of tapasya, either in this life or in another. When Draupadi's clothes were being taken off, the wife of the 5 Pandavas, in order to humiliate her in the court, Duryodhana ordered her clothes to be taken off. She cried earnestly, praying to God. God revealed himself to her and said, "Try to remember whether you have ever made a gift of a cloth to anyone. Then your modesty will be preserved." Draupadi replied, "Yes, I remember now. Once a rishi was taking his bath. When his loincloth was carried away by the current, I tore off half of my cloth and gave it to him. Thereupon the Lord said, 'Then you have nothing to fear.'" Yam was sitting on the small footrug. Master said to the Yam, "You have understood what I said?" Yam replied, "Yes, sir. You spoke about inherent tendencies." Master, "Repeat what I said." Yam repeated the story of Draupadi. Hazra entered the room. He had been living with Sri Ramakrishna in the temple garden for the past 2 years and had first met the Master in 1880 at Sihor in the house of Hriday, the Master's nephew. Hazra's native village was near Sihor and he owned some property there. He had a wife and children and also some debts. From youth he had felt a spirit of renunciation and sought the company of holy men and devotees. The Master had asked him to live with him at Dakshineshwar and looked after his necessities. To live with him at Dakshineshwar and look after his necessities. Hazra's mind was a jumble of undigested religious moods. He professed the path of knowledge and disapproved of Sri Ramakrishna's attitude of bhakti and his longing for the young devotees. Now and then he thought of the Master as a great soul, but again he slighted him as an ordinary human being. He spent much of his time in telling his beads, and he criticized Rockall and the other young men for their indifference to the practice. He was a strong advocate of religious conventions and rules of conduct, and made a fad of them. He was about 38 years old. As Hazra came in, the Master became a little abstracted, and in that mood began to talk. He said to Hazra, "What you are doing is right in principle, but the application is not quite correct. Don't find fault with anyone, not even with an insect. As you pray to God for devotion, so also pray that you may not find fault with anyone." Hazra, does God listen to our prayer for bhakti? Master, surely. I can assure you of that 100 times. But the prayer must be genuine and earnest. Do worldly-minded people weep for God as they do for wife and children? At Kamarpoko, the wife of a certain man fell ill. The man thought she would not recover. He began to tremble and was about to faint. Who feels that way for God? Hazra was about to take the dust of the Master's feet. Master, shrinking, asked, "What is this?" Hazra said, "Why should I not take the dust of his feet who has so kindly kept me with him?" Master said, "Satisfy God and everyone will be satisfied. If he is pleased, the world is pleased." Once the Lord ate a few greens from Draupadi's cooking pot and said, "Oh, I am satisfied." Immediately the whole world and all its living beings were satisfied. They felt as if they had eaten their fill. But was the world satisfied? Or did it feel that way when the rishis ate their food? To Hazra, Sri Ramakrishna said, a perfect soul, even after attaining knowledge, practices devotions or observes religious ceremonies to set an example to others. I go to the Kali temple and I bow before the holy pictures in my room. Therefore others do the same. Further, if a man has become habituated to such ceremonies, he feels restless if he does not observe them. One day I saw a sannyasi under the banyan tree. He had put the salagram on the same carpet with his guru's sandals. He was worshipping them. I said to him, if you have attained knowledge to that extent, that is to say, realization of the identity of the Guru and God, then why such formal worship at all? He replied, what difference does it make? Since I do everything else, why not these two? Sometimes I offer the flowers of the Guru's feet and sometimes to God. One cannot renounce work as long as one has a body. As long as there is mud at the bottom of the lake, bubbles will be produced. To Hazra, Sri Ramakrishna asked, if there is knowledge of one, there is also knowledge of many. What will you achieve by mere study of the scriptures? The scriptures contain a mixture of sand and sugar, as it were. It is extremely difficult to separate the sugar from the sand. Therefore, one should learn the essence of the scriptures from the teacher or from a sadhu. Afterwards, what does one care for books? To the devotees, Sri Ramakrishna said, gather all the information and then plunge in. Suppose a pot has dropped in a certain part of a lake. Locate this spot and dive there. One should learn the essence of the scriptures from the Guru and then practice sadhana. If one rightly follows this spiritual discipline, then one directly sees God. The discipline is said to be rightly followed only when one plunges in. What will a man gain by merely reasoning about the words of the scriptures? Oh, the fools! They reason themselves to death over information about the path. They never take the plunge. What a pity! You may say, even though you dive deep, you are still in a danger of sharks and crocodiles, of lust and anger. But dive after rubbing your body with turmeric powder. Then sharks and crocodiles will not come near you. The turmeric is discrimination and renunciation. To the devotees he said, God made me pass through the disciples of various paths. First according to the Purana, then according to Tantra. I also followed the disciplines of the Vedas. At first, I practiced sadhana in the Panchavati. I made a grove of tulsi plants and used to sit inside it and meditate. Sometimes I cried with a longing heart. Mother, Mother, or again Rama, Rama. While repeating the name of Rama, I sometimes assumed the attitude of a Hanuman and fixed a tail to the lower end of my backbone. I was in a God-intoxicated state. At that time I used to put on a silk robe and worship the deity. What joy I experienced in that worship. I shall stop here. Any questions? Any observations? That's true, but sometimes the Guru's strictness is not understood properly by the disciples. The strictness of the Guru is also out of compassion. If the Guru is not strict about seeing the progress of his aspirant, then the disciple may not improve much. So, many times the disciples don't understand the Guru on account of their own likes and dislikes. So, without any question, you must follow what the Guru says. Keep aside your likes and dislikes. That's the way to enforce discipline on your own self. That's the way to control the mind. That's the way to subdue the ego. Otherwise, it is too terrible. In the name of spirituality, we become more egoistic and more violent. The moment you become violent, the moment you show up your egoism, you will lose all your spirituality, whatever spirituality you may have. Even the little bit of spirituality also dries up. So one has to be very careful, because the spiritual path is like that. Unless you are very careful, it's difficult to have the benefits of spiritual life. Anything else? That's true. That's true. It happens. But the Guru only knows the weaknesses of the disciple. And that is why the Guru's instructions are different to different persons. So, what is needed is devotion to the Guru. Once you have chosen the Guru, once you have set the ideal, then you must be firm in your attitude. That's the way. That's the way. Yeah. It definitely takes some time, so that they know, they are able to understand things in a proper way. Till then, you have to wait for some time more. And each one, as it is said, each one is different. Each one's temperament is different. And you have to manage very intelligently. It is true, sometimes jealousy comes between and disturbs the atmosphere. It is true. But as an elderly person, you should see how that can be properly taken care of. There are various methods of improving the character of the children. One is telling them good moral stories, and because the children all they love stories, and you must tell them the stories in a very graphic way, in a very interesting way, and then you must draw the moral lesson properly and tell them, look, if you behave like this, you will be also like that. So that is the way to show them how bad action leads to bad, how good actions lead to good, and how devotion brings one to establish oneself in good character, and so on. So you must have some simple textbook to explain to them the ideas to the children, and you must allow some time, because children, they have got playful mood. So you should not expect too much from them. But they have got wonderful grasping power. They immediately grasp, and whatever you have told, it goes into them. It stays with them permanently. It will bear its fruit at the correct time. They will remember very well. Oh, my dad told me like this. It is true. Like that they will remember. So it has got its value. Yeah. Any more? Anybody else? Yeah, it depends upon your spiritual aspiration. For certain things, you require many teachers. For the main thing, you require the principal teacher. The principal teacher is the only one not many. But it depends upon what ideal you have taken up and what type of life you are choosing, what type of guru is needed to guide you in that path. It depends upon those things. For ordinary things, for simple matters, you may have number of teachers. But for a spiritual subject, you need a teacher who is well established in that path and who will guide you properly in that way. So that you must be able to select. And so, as far as the spiritual goal and spiritual results are concerned, you will have to have only one guru. Because if you have too many gurus, your mind gets distracted and your practice also get disturbed. So once I had an occasion to meet a very great devotee in Bangalore, very fine devotee. He was a philosopher, professor of philosophy in Mysore University, very great scholar, and he knew the subject very well. And he belonged to Vaishnava family. So he belonged to the tradition of Ramanuj. That means qualified monism, Vishishtadvaita. But he could speak very well on Advaita. He could speak also very well on dualism. He had so much of clarity in the mind. So what happened was, every system of philosophy, they have got Acharya in India. For example, for Dvaita, Vedanta, Udupi, Madhvacharya tradition is very great. For qualified monism, Vishishtadvaita, Ramanuja tradition is great. For Advaita tradition, Shankaracharya tradition is great. Like that. These are the main principal acharyas. Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhvacharya. So all these traditions are doing very well, carrying their activities in their own way. Every year they do celebration. When they do celebration, they will have a seminar. They take one theme and allow discussion. What is the non-dualistic point of view? What is dualistic point of view, etc. So at that time, they will invite all the eminent scholars. And after the guru of the Math will honor them with blessings and so on. So this particular person, his name was Mr. Raghavacharya, a very great man. Now he is no more, he has passed away. He would speak so well. Suppose he goes to Madhvacharya tradition, dualism, he spoke very well, and the Swami of that order was overwhelmed by his talk. He would call him and initiate him. Come, I will give you a mantra. He felt it's a great honor, he took it. Then he was invited by Ramanuja tradition in Madras. He went there, he gave an excellent talk. Then the Swami invited him, well, I am so much happy with you. Come, I will give you mantra. But the person, he did not refuse because he thinks, they are giving something to me, it's a great treasure. Why not I take? Like that he took. And then he went to Shankaracharya, Advaita. There also he gave mantra. So he has got 3 or 4 sets of mantras. And then he went to Ramakrishna Mission in Gol Park in South Calcutta, where I was there before coming to Chicago. It's a very big institution. There he gave excellent talk on Sri Ramakrishna. All the Swamis were very happy to hear him. That particular philosopher, he would come to our ashram every now and then in Bangalore. He was staying nearby. And the head of the Bangalore ashram at that time, he was a great friend of this philosopher. So naturally he would come and stay. Whenever he would come, he would stay for 1 week or 2 weeks like that. And that would give us occasion to talk to him. And he talked about Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda on 3-4 occasions in our Bangalore ashram. When I was the president of Bangalore ashram, 83 to 89, I had the occasion of inviting him to speak in a seminar. Gave a wonderful talk. All those talks have been published in small booklet. The book is available here. It's called Neo Vedanta something he has given. Beautifully done. Then I asked him, while taking breakfast, well, you are such a very good speaker, and you yourself said you got mantra from this guru and that guru and so on. They tell me, do you repeat all the mantras what you get from them? Some guru gives 2 mantras, 3 mantras like that. And then he smiled, mild smile. He said, Swamiji, I gave the mantra and I took it. How can I refuse it? I took it. But I can't make japa of all the mantras, but I just remember them at least once. And then concentrate upon my own mantra which I have received in my tradition. Like that he said. And but in order to practice spiritual life in a serious way, and if you have to have spiritual experience, certainly you must follow one guru so that you will be concentrated upon him and his teachings thoroughly well, and your mind also gets organized properly, otherwise you get confused. All sorts of conflicts will come to the mind. So it's better to have one guru than many. It depends on the theme, the subject, what you take. The spiritual master is always one. Of course, if you take Sri Ramakrishna, he had many gurus, no doubt. But whenever a guru comes, when he teaches him, he would attain the perfection, and that guru's job is over. Then he would take another. For example, Bhairavi Brahmani, she came and she taught him Tantra Shastra. He became adept in that. He got perfection. Then he took up Vaishnava Sadhana. He got perfection. Then he took up Advaita Sadhana, Totapuri. Like that. In his case, he had all the gurus were arranged by Divine Mother. This particular guru will come and he will teach you the particular theme. So like that. Finally, he merged all the gurus in the Divine Mother Kali. She herself is the guru, eternal guru. That's how we should build up our spiritual life. Should stop. Yeah, that is true. That is, it doesn't mean that you should do bad things and offer bad things also. No. Don't do bad things. Yeah, otherwise how do you appreciate the value of goodness? All the faculties are given to us, but if you don't know how to use them, if you don't know what is good and what is bad, then it becomes difficult. In order to know what is good and what is bad, you have to come in contact with holy people or spiritual texts so that you will be able to understand properly. That's the way. Thank you. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of their heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, down deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bought for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness. who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with this desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stealest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from the darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous reign tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, and may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be free from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord of the destroyer, since the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole world becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.